And we are live again. This is Toni Weel and Sara from Virtuous Unicorns. And gosh, it's just another beautiful day. And I invited, or actually I asked people in a fruitarian group on Facebook to join us today and to share their fruitarian journey, because it would be so great to hear from people who have been on this path and how they have been doing. And I think we learn a lot from other people and see how they balance their life with doing this and be happy and enjoy everything. So that is a big struggle for many of us to get it right, to be happy with our choices.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's just another beautiful day.
We're actually having a pretty nice day here too, but we are getting some of that smoke from, I guess, the quote Canadian forest fires. I really don't know what's going on, but we do have it in our atmosphere, but hopefully it passes on through. But otherwise it is a very nice day here.
Yeah, there are no wildfires here, at least not what I know of. I heard about a kind of orange look over New York, but that is pretty bad because they seem to have the wildfires there too.
Yeah, it's definitely reached Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, I think even some parts of Indiana, stuff like that. But we could see it really good last night. Not so much during the day yesterday, but come evening around 6, 7 o'clock, you could see it settling in and the sky was definitely all orangey.
Wow. I think we need to take some precaution to protect our lungs, because when you see it, you breathe it in. And we have this tree lime tea with the tree herbs. I think that would help clearing some of it out. Do you have any effects for it for yourself or your family?
No, nothing. I mean, like I said, we just saw it last night. And I mean, it's hard to tell anything with the allergies, but we've been on orange juice now. I guess we're going on our 3rd week now. And so I mean, we're making ourselves strong that way, staying hydrated and things like that. That is like something like I was kind of contemplating. I don't have any masks, but if it got really bad here, I mean, what kind of mask do you use? What mask do you trust? What all do you really do? I mean, I know we can protect ourselves internally and just make ourselves nice and strong, but those people that are still fighting and, finding the path and trying to go through detox right now, I mean, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, but don't forget the negative effects of these masks, because you're not
Exactly.
supposed to breathe in what you were just breathing out. I think that would even be more harmful.
Exactly. And not to mention, is there fiberglass in them? Where are the mask made from? So like what can you do then? Basically, would be my question.
Yeah, it would be a good topic. It's the clean health, so your body is strong to fight whatever comes at it. I
Mhm.
mean, we've been going through all of this during centuries. Always, there's always something, and we're still here with our little, sometimes really big problems. But I think the basic is to eat healthy, and with healthy, we. I think I have to clarify that one. What is healthy food, Sara?
Fruit. Fruit. Only fruit.
Oh God, that is a topic that I hear so often, but I eat healthy. Yeah, so did I. My whole life I ate so healthy. I ate the healthy greens and I drank the healthy milk. Well, not by choice, but by force when I was younger. And I drank the healthy coffee and I ate the healthy fats. And of course, the healthy nuts, the proteins that we needed, all healthy foods, not so much. And so nowadays, when I hear people say I eat healthy food, it's like, okay, what is healthy in your book?
Or a
Because
well-balanced meal. I hear that all the time.
that one too. And I talked with a client about it, that we were actually told we need to eat the colors of the rainbow. And I was like, I had to think about it. Yeah, you know, that can be in all kinds of, from the beets to the chard to whatever, there are different colors. But then it was like, they're not so healthy, not all so healthy for us. But if you look at the fruits, my God, there is a whole rainbow of fruits. Do we need to worry if we can only get oranges or mangoes? No, your body knows what to do with it. It makes what it needs and it gets it out of the fruits. And it sounds so simplistic, and it's like, well, maybe it just is.
It is. It really is. God has provided everything that we need. And it's
Yeah, and we don't need to spend a whole day going from, you know, when you think way back, you know, going from one tree to the other to the bushes to find your the rainbow of fruit to make sure that you get all the nutrients that you need.
Yep, stay with that one tree and eat from it, mono eat, and be good to go. I always do try to imagine that kind of stuff too. You know, what would the day look like back then, or what would you be doing, that kind of things. I mean, the only thing we know is what they've told us. So how do we really know? But I do like to wonder.
It's kind of funny. I'm just thinking of something. I have a big plate of different kinds of fruit in front of me. Now, when I start eating, and I know I do it that way, when I start eating, I pick out one kind and eat that first. And it would be not a strawberry, and then a piece of banana, and then a piece of mango, and then a piece of pineapple. No, I pick out first all one kind, the fruit. Would you do that? Would you do the same? Doesn't that actually tell you something?
Well, I mean, because I used to, I always used to take every day, gosh, it's been almost 20 years ago. When I would work, I would take strawberries, green grapes, a little bit of spinach, and some almonds. Just maybe like 5 almonds would be in there. And I would eat that every day for my lunch. And I would eat like the variety the whole time, but I mean, like if I had like a large plate of fruit, I mean, maybe I would just kind of stick to it, but I don't know. I might do a little grazing just around the bowl too. So I'm not sure. But I do not like eating fruit and vegetables. I never have
No.
together mixed, but I'm also a bad vegetable eater.
Yeah, me too. There are certain vegetables I am okay with. It was like, I never liked mushrooms. And then long time ago, I actually cooked in a vegetarian vegan. No, it was actually a vegan restaurant, but then it was called a vegetarian restaurant. But we didn't use any dairy. But I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about not being good veggie eaters. I mean, I've
Oh
always
yeah, okay. That is where I it's so funny. I had to go back to the mushrooms. I didn't like mushrooms. And then somebody was also cooking there said, oh yeah, but you have to put pepper and salt on it and then it's delicious. So here we go again, you know, you add something to it to make it more edible yeah. It's always that salt that keeps coming back in using it, and everything tastes better. You never have that issue with fruit.
Mm-mm. Well, I mean, when we did grow up, I remember we would always put sugar on strawberries and we'd put sugar on mulberries, that kind of stuff, but we never put anything else on anything else. I do know people that still to this day put salt on their watermelon. But yeah, we used to, but I mean, it's been many, many years since we put sugar on any of our fruits. And speaking of mulberries, they're in season now in Ohio, and I imagine other places across the Midwest. So if you know where any mulberry trees are, now's the time to get out and start picking.
I wanted to plant one, and then I asked how big it's going to grow.
Very big. It is a very large tree, but
Yeah.
so worth it. So worth it.
And I mean, if it gets that big, how do you get to all the mulberries? Or do you have to wait until they're about ready to fall off? They probably have machines for it to get them off.
Some people do put like tarps down and let them catch through the night or whatnot, or they'll try
Right.
to shake the tree a little bit and they just fall right off. I've been known to eat them off the ground. If they're like, obviously I don't want them if they're squished or if they're way down into the grass, but I can tell when they have fallen recently and I'll eat them off the ground.
Yeah.
But the limbs do hang down quite far, especially on almost all the ones that we've been to. And we have them all over our neighborhoods. So they're everywhere. Even when I walk to my horse every day, I walk directly underneath one. And every day I've been looking at it and they are purple finally.
Wow. And these are the long ones?
Some of them are short. I guess it depends on the age of the tree really, but we have a
Oh,
bunch of
okay.
trees on one of our paths that we'll go to look for them. Those trees are very old and they are some of the longer ones. But they're not that really long one, like the one I think you're referring to. I would say maybe it's like an inch, maybe half.
Yeah, those are long ones to me. I have had shorter ones than that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's not really important. I love the taste and I love when they are, you can just, I don't know, you don't even need to chew on anything. They get really ripe.
Yep. I do know that some of them do have bugs in them, but I just look really well and or if I'm eating while I'm picking, I'll just eat them and just look really well. But then if not, I do go home and I will wash them and just put some baking soda into the water too and rinse them off and eat them.
I've actually never looked if there were any bugs in there.
Yeah, there's
When we
sometimes
were,
little tiny white ones or sometimes green ones.
oh, I wish I didn't know that. When we were children, parents always said, even with the worms in an apple, well, there's your protein.
Yeah. Or that's how you know that that's a good apple too, because a worm won't go into a bad apple.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it works out really well that way.
Yeah,
Nature
we were just
letting
eating
us
around.
know.
We were just eating around the worm. It was no big deal. Now you see apples in all the fruit is without any blemishes.
Yeah, that's scary.
On the farmers market, I love passion fruit, especially in smoothies. And she always has two separate baskets. One they look perfect, and the other one they look not so good. And she sells them for a lot less. I always get the bad looking ones because inside they're all the same.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It doesn't matter, but yeah. And right now I have my husband just put a bowl of a mango next to me, so it's staring at me.
So cool. Well, while we're talking about mangoes real quick, what I was just telling Tony before we started our show was we were watching The Chosen season 3, episode 1. And on there they had Jesus had just finished giving one of his talks. I think it was about Matthew chapter 5. And apparently he'd been up talking a long time for well over 1,000 people. And he was very tired and he was gonna sit down and he wanted something to eat. And they brought him, when they showed his plate, because I've always been very interested to see how are they going to portray this. And during this scene, they did portray him. He was eating grapes and he had a mango and an apple on his plate. I was like, yep, if that was the meal he was going to have, he would have that. And so far, I like how they portrayed it in at least that episode. I don't know if each and every one is going to be like that moving forward. But seeing that was really neat to see.
Well, it is not just neat to see, it is very important to see. Because we strayed off what food is good for us so far. So far. And with the foods that people have been eating, it's like pretty horrendous.
Yeah. Nope, not at all. So we just need to keep it simple. And like Tony's eating today, she's going where the man goes by eating her mangoes, reaching up for the fruit.
I bought on the farmer's market a watermelon. It's so big, so big. And we juiced it. It got 9 liters of juice.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So you know what I will be doing the next 3 days?
Mm-hmm. Drinking your watermelon juice.
Yeah, yeah. And it's actually delicious. This is finally the seeded watermelons. I didn't have them for years.
Oh wow. Yeah,
And
we
they're
found them
not
last year.
and they're not even organic. And they are so sweet. So if anyone wants to find a good seeded watermelon sprouts, I think you have them all over the United States.
We don't have them up here. I think they're out to the west.
Oh, well, I'm in the East.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
all over Florida, so you do have them here. So that would be one to be able to find one, because other stores, I have not seen it at all.
Well,
And yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say we get ours from like a wholesaler of fruits locally.
okay.
Well, it's the fruit's not local, but the store's local, and it's just like one
Right.
store. There's not a chain of them. So
And the farmer's market, she only had one, and she always keeps it for me. If I didn't show up at 11, then in the morning, then she sells it to someone else.
oh, that's nice.
Knowing that all the time that I come to the farmer's market, like, you have any seeded?
Mm-hmm.
He knows. And I think that is what we have to do. And when we don't see the fruit that we want, ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure that where they buy their stuff, it is somewhere.
Yes.
And I knew that she usually gets her fruits, at least her watermelons, from Georgia. She said the Georgia watermelons are much better than the Florida ones because it's just too hot in Florida.
Isn't there a song about Georgia watermelons or something?
Isn't that Georgia peaches?
Well, it's a country song about somewhere down yonder on something in July, watermelon, something. I don't know. If I think about it, I will. Or if anyone in the chat knows about it.
Yeah, it is a watermelon season now, and I can't wait until the Concord grapes come in season. I would like those.
Mm-hmm. That's neat. Yeah, I mean, we've been on our orange juice and it's fantastic. I mean, it tastes so good and I've missed it so much. And people are like, how could that ever keep you full all day? Well, I mean, it does. Like, it's alive and it's wonderful. It makes you feel good. And my mom actually, she's mulched her whole yard. She's completely done her front porch. She like washed her whole outside of her home. And she's like, I have never had this much energy.
Oh, wow, that is so good.
And her wheeze has gone away because, we were thinking about like the COPD kind of stuff, but that's gone too. And so,
oh, wow.
I know, it's amazing. And I said, see, there you go.
Yeah, I still have like, is it the oranges? Because we know the fruit is not the healing factor.
That's
It
correct.
is what you leave out that you don't eat anymore, and then it gives your body the chance to heal.
Exactly.
And then with the right nutrition, the right fuel for your body can heal.
Yep. But I look at it this way, that the oranges have played a role that keep her from eating the other stuff. So then the oranges at the end are helping for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, if anyone has any questions in the chat, please ask away. Or Toni did put the link at the top if you'd like to call in. I know you were talking earlier, but you talked to a couple of fruitarians. Maybe they are in the chat or going to be calling in. That would be great.
The link is there. I posted the link there too, the Zoom link. I did not post the videos because I have to ask permission of the admin there first.
Right.
Before I do that.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Well, while we're waiting then, or we're waiting on anybody to have a question or whatnot, I know we talked about a year ago, I think it was over last summer, but maybe this would be a good time to recap on like a summer first aid kit, something about like poison ivy, bee stings, etc., things like that. And of course, like heat stroke and overheating, prevention of that kind of stuff and everything.
My God, I think I put a file together for that and I totally forgot about it.
Yep, I think you did too.
I may have posted it. I knew it was posted in a Freak Sense World. And I don't know if I posted yet in a Garden of Eden .social. Yeah, I've been sneaking mango while you were talking. I couldn't have resisted. Gosh.
You're fine. And also like what kind of foods or stuff like that to maybe have on hand during a power outage. I know a lot of we keep our oranges in the refrigerator just so that way when we juice them fresh, they're already kind of cool. They're not cold by any means, but they're not room temperature either. Bananas can always be on the counter and things like that too. So a lot of them can already be shelf stable, but some people do like to refrigerate.
Well, with the bananas nowadays, they go from green to overripe within less than a week.
They do.
I found that when you buy your fruit and you don't have electricity, so you cannot put them in a cooling. Of course, you can keep stuff on ice if you have ice, but that will melt too, and that's after the day that is gone. If you want to keep your fruit last at least a few days, don't wash it until you eat it. We found that because that is for my husband who takes it when he's on the road for 5 days. And it's like with, now he actually made a mistake to rinse or wash the strawberries with water that had baking soda in it. The strawberries don't like that. All you need to do with strawberries is rinse them very well so the scent is off.
Yep.
You know, that you wash that off. But pesticides washing off and using abrasive things like that doesn't work on these soft fruits. The same goes from what is the other ones? Well, actually, it would go for mulberries and all that kind of fruit.
Well, I was seeing that too, where if the baking soda or touches the strawberry, it will immediately start to kind of like eat the flesh of the strawberry and just start damaging the strawberry. But what I do is I fill up my sink or bowl, whatever I'm using, with the water, and then I allow all of the baking soda to dissolve and I swish it around, and then I add my fruit to it. I never sprinkle the baking soda on top of the fruit and then kind of stir it around, because I also did find that it does damage the strawberries that way too.
Yeah, we do it exactly the way that you say, that it's all dissolved, but still, if that fruit was not eaten the same day, the next day it's gone. And otherwise we could keep it for 3 days outside of a fridge. Same goes for well, no, not the same for grapes. Grapes we do wash with baking soda, because I have not been able to get organic grapes lately. So it is not organic, and we'll make sure that we wash them well.
Yeah.
And same with apples. And apples last without a fridge for up to 2 weeks.
Yes. Yep. And you can always peel the skin of the apple if there was ever like a serious concern too.
Yeah, but you know, when you talk about, what fruit can we keep in case of an outage, we just purchased a used generator to keep at least the fridge and the freezer going, because we found last year that we had a lot of frozen fruits that it was all gone. We had to throw everything out. It started refreezing, and then when we opened it up and it was like, nah, let's not use this.
Yeah.
But we have to be aware with the frozen fruit. I found I had frozen fruit from 2 years ago that I had never used. When you freeze your fruit, there are settings on your freezer, temperature settings. If you have them on the what do you call the lowest settings, so the coldest, you can keep your frozen fruit for about 6 months. If you have them, say, in the middle, then you can keep it for 3 months in the freezer. If you have it on the warmest setting of your freezer, you can only keep it for 1 month. And we think, well, it is frozen, but it feels hard. But I wasn't aware of this, that there was actually a difference in how long you can keep your frozen fruit. So I think that is important to know.
That is interesting. The other way about the strawberries real quick is I have like half-gallon mason jars. And I put like a cloth or like a I guess it would be ascribed to like a hanky or something like that. And then our bandana, that kind of thing. I put that down in the bottom of the mason jar, the half-gallon jar, and then I put all my strawberries in there after they've kind of dried off. And after they've been washed, and then I put another one on top of that. Alternative to that, if you don't have like a washcloth or something like that you could put a paper towel on the bottom and a paper towel on top. And I've gotten my strawberries to last a long time. Keep in mind, fruit does not last long in our home because we eat it. And I try not to buy it in bulk because I also don't want it to go bad if something did, whatever. So I'd say we buy oranges once a week. And then we buy the rest of the fruit maybe 2-3 times a week. But we keep strawberries, grapes, oranges, lemons, bananas, and the blueberries are frozen. My husband does frozen blueberries. The wild frozen blueberries. Yep. But
yeah, they're pretty good. One of my clients told me how great the frozen raspberries were. She said very sweet, and she actually bought them at Walmart, and they were not organic, but they were very sweet, and she's doing good on them.
That's nice.
So eat it as a snack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it is. So in case that you would be out of power, apples were always the best. What you said about your strawberries in a mason jars, you probably put them then in a cooling.
Yeah, then they would go in the refrigerator. Yes.
Yeah. So, but it is about what can we keep outside of a freezer. Of course, it is the dry fruits. As long as you have you drink enough or you soak them, that's still fine. There are always ways, and freeze dried, but it's the same thing. It doesn't have any liquids anymore, so you have to make sure you don't get dehydrated.
Yep. That's like the soldiers that were eating the MREs. I know that one of my husband's squad, or I think it was probably their whole platoon, they ate nothing but MREs for a very long time. I mean, it was probably more than 6 months. And a lot of them still have bowel issues to this day. Granted, they're not following a fruit, kind of diet at this point either. They're still all on the standard American diet. But just eating dehydrated foods can really have long-term effects on you if you eat them for long periods of time.
Yeah, we always forget we need the water.
Mm-hmm. And they were drinking tons of water, but being in the desert and stuff like that too doesn't help. So
no, you need to drink more than those tons even. I was just thinking about another one, watermelon. Watermelon doesn't last long if you don't cool it, but I think a week or more will absolutely do it. And juices, you can't keep juices good outside the fridge, not even a day.
Nope.
So that wouldn't work. Oranges last outside of the fridge. So in a power outage, you can have that.
Yep. And I would say we keep them in our garage. If they don't fit all in the refrigerator, we keep at least 1 or 2 boxes in the garage where it's nice and cool, and they last just fine too. So just somewhere cool.
So we don't even need to worry about what to eat with a power outage because there's always ways. And but yeah, we go from it may last 7 to 14 days in Florida with all the hurricanes. And since I've been living here, been in the US now for 18 years, I've been going through 6 or 7 hurricanes now.
Oh, wow.
With the last year one, we had a power outage less than 3 days.
Oh, wow.
So we got to the point that somebody in the community was offering to lend out his his generator, and I jumped on it. Like, oh my God, my frozen fruits.
Absolutely.
So,
and especially like Florida too. I mean, Florida gets really hot, so
yeah. But you know what? It's usually after a hurricane, it's getting hot again. And if you are without power, but I don't even remember when that last hurricane exactly was, which month, but we were not suffering because the air conditioning didn't work. But I think if you have, and I just bought a small generator, it's 4,000 watts, so it's not that big, but it can run a fan, the fridge, and the freezer. And I thought, okay, with that we're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when it's in the 90s and in the high 90s, it's not fun. But I was thinking, when it comes to it, we can still sit in the car and cool off.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever had to, there's always differences in
And
emergency.
and the funny thing is, but a lot of people did go to stores where they have backup generators working to cool off.
Mm-hmm. That is,
So we there's not really that much worry about those things.
yep.
So we can handle it.
My mom has yet to turn on her air conditioning, and it has cooled down nicely this week, but last week, I mean, it was hot. It was well into the 90s, but we still didn't have the humidity yet, so it was pretty nice. In her house, I mean, we all were fine, but everybody else that was kind of coming and going was, it's terrible in here. It is so hot in here and stuff like that. And yeah, of course, we're always made fun of too. It's oh, are you guys gonna have orange juice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? We're like, yeah. Yes,
So
we
now,
are.
so you don't use the air conditioner in your house when it's hot?
I have it's on in my home because my husband does have really bad allergies still. But because he's not fully on fruit. I mean, he has what he calls meat days now. And he has 2 meat days a week, which he does break up between 3 and 4 days between each one. And but he has really bad allergies still. But I mean, we're outside. We're only in the home to sleep, and then maybe we're home maybe 2-3 hours each evening. But other than that, I mean, he's outside, or we're at my mom's where she doesn't have the air on either. So we sleep in air conditioning, I can say.
Yeah, I don't think it would be very comfortable to not have the air conditioning or the fan on. We have fans all over. In every room, there's a fan, and it's always on.
Mm-hmm.
But I will keep it around 80, 83 degrees. My office is a little warmer because it was the sunroom, a lot of windows. But yeah, 80 degrees is the max that I feel comfortable in a house. So
Yeah. During the summer, 80 degrees is for a home for us, I guess, is still pretty that's pretty warm. The warmest that we like it in our home would be like 74. But
oh my, I would be freezing.
yeah. Of course, with that though, a lot of air conditionings in like larger homes, like the basement would then be freezing. The first floor would be a little bit warm, and then or it'd be normal, and then the upstairs would be really hot.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, I live in a manufactured home. There's only one floor. That makes it easy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And a lot of homes have tile floors in Florida, but carpeted floors more in the north. We have a combination of carpet and tile. Or, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
carpet and wood.
Now, would you say that with being on that much fruit that you feel different in heat if you can handle
Oh,
things better?
100%, 100%.
Isn't
I
that
do not feel the
amazing?
heat like I did at all. And I know that we talked last week too about like I don't burn anymore. And I've been out in the sun either at like a festival or just working out at the farm, and I haven't even turned red. Like I'm still pretty pale for being outside as long as I am. And I don't wear any sunscreen, I don't wear a hat, I don't wear any of that kind of stuff. And I was starting to think that um is it lycopene, or I forget exactly the word for it, but the fruit gives you to protect you from the sun. And plus I don't wear sunglasses either. But like I'm not even like, I'm slowly changing color. It's not like I used to go out and I'd be super red and then it would turn to like a tan. But no, I mean, I'm still pretty pale. Like I can see I have gotten sun, but I'm definitely not changing color like I usually would.
See, that is what my husband actually mentioned. He is outside a lot, and he is like, I don't get a tan like I used to.
Yeah.
I never even related that to a fruitarian lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually change because we used to coming from the Netherlands, pretty light skinned.
Yep.
And going out in the sun, within half an hour, you have a sunburn, then blisters, and then you tan.
Exactly. And that's how it always was. I mean, even last year, I was pretty golden, pretty quick on, but this is my second summer then on orange juice. And so I'm very interested to see how this will go. I mean, I probably spend 4 to 6 hours a day in the sun. So, I mean, not so much every day now, but but I still am in there at least every evening.
It seems that the morning sun is the best for us.
It is. And I do miss the morning sun, but I'm more into the evening sun. But that's just because of work. So yeah. We do have a question from Sue. She says, does the pituitary gland control the pineal gland?
I should have an answer for that, and I don't. And that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I was just listening to Dr. Morse yesterday, and he explained it, but he goes so fast. And of course, while I have him on, I am listening, but not writing it down, because I was working on some protocols in iridology reports. I heard him say it. The pituitary is the one that is for all the glands. So I would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm wrong, you'll let me know.
Yeah. What is it that you're wanting? What kind of questions are you having about the pituitary gland or your pineal gland? I know that does your pituitary control your, like, how tall you get and stuff like that too?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder. I know a lot of our pineal glands, almost everybody's, is probably calcified and shrunk.
Well, the thing is, it's known in the medical industry. I don't call it. Well, I can only call it industry. That the pineal gland can be calcified. Mm-hmm. Why do we believe that only that can be calcified and not our other glands?
Yeah,
it's all affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is already an issue, then the rest is too. Yeah, Dr. Morse told us that when we are, as in height, under 5'5", we have a weakness in the pituitary. And I found now with the iridology readings that it shows in the iris the pituitary weakness if somebody is on the short side or very tall.
Mm-hmm.
So I was somewhere in the middle with 5'9", but if you get to the 6 foot or taller, it shows it too in the iris. It's interesting.
Is that both for men and women?
Yes. Well, it's probably for men a little different, and as in height, because they are a little taller usually than women.
Yeah.
I haven't heard Dr. Morse explain about that.
Because most of the men in my family are somewhere between 6'2" and 6'4". So, and all the women are about 5'10". So even 5'11", but
it's actually rather tall for American women. When I came here first in '81, I was like, everybody was shorter than I was, and I was 5'9". And of course wearing heels. So
yeah, maybe depends on what part of the area you go to.
Yeah, well, that is the funny thing. If you look in Europe, people in the south are shorter than people up north. I heard somebody jokingly said once, well, they need to grow taller to be closer to the sun.
Yeah, but you never know.
Complete nonsense, but it's funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
Now, you mentioned something that I thought was interesting about that comedian that you heard. Who is it actually?
I had to look him up. I think his name is Nate. I don't know his last name, but I get little things from him here and there, where the one he was talking about, he used to eat a bunch of candy, and he said, well, I think I'm going to give up the candy and kind of go to start eating a bunch more fruit. And then people start telling him, like, well, you got to watch out for that fruit because it's loaded with sugar. And he's like, candy or fruit? Huh? No. He goes, well, okay. He goes, well, I don't know about that. He goes, why don't you show me all your fat fruit friends?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah. But he says little things here and there that he's kind of like a clean comedian that just kind of pokes fun at daily life kind of stuff. And so that kind of stuff is funny. So yeah,
Yeah, then you realize that more and more people getting it.
yeah,
You know, they despite what all the doctors are telling you, it's like doesn't matter if you have cancer, candida, or diabetes. It's like you have to stay away from the sugar.
yeah,
But it's like it is too bad that it's actually being called for fruit sugar, and that they are not clear. So everybody thinks, oh, sugar can't have that. I think
yes,
we talked about that before when, a cancer patient is told, the fruit feeds a cancer, so you cannot eat fruit.
yeah,
And then I'm thinking, okay, now were you eating fruit before? And then no, I didn't eat fruit. But you have cancer. Yeah, yeah. And you can't eat fruit because it feeds the cancer. How did you get cancer?
yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if they ever said that to a doctor, if they what reasons they can come up with. But it's that whole thing, and it's the same with candida. It's the same with diabetes. Oh no, if I eat fruit, I get diabetes. Oh no, when I eat fruit, my diabetes is getting worse. Well, you eating fruit than before? No, I once in a while an apple. So how did you get diabetes?
Yeah, exactly. It was a different.
And it's like, yeah, it's please, people, think about this. It's so important that we are bringing out the right information. So I'm happy with all the groups that are following Dr. Morse, and there are quite a few. And happy to find that fruitarian group, and there are more fruitarian groups actually on Facebook. And then to think about that 5, 6, 7 years ago now, I lost track of time. I had never heard about, frugivores or only eating fruit. I mentioned it before about what I saw on YouTube was a young couple, very happy looking couple with fruits in their hands. And they were only eating fruit, and they were just traveling from country to country where the best fruit was at that moment. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. It didn't give it much of a thought. And it was like, maybe if I was young, I would do that. Younger, let's say that, younger. And I would do that too. Right now with how traveling goes, I don't even want to travel unless I can, take my own car and go traveling. But it was intriguing, but so surprisingly, it still took me a few years to get to the point where I am at now.
Yep. I
So
remember it was Freely the Banana Girl was the first person I believe that I watched who was just doing fruit. And she was just really into lots and lots of bananas. I don't know if it was like 8, 12 bananas a day or something like that. And then they went to the Highland Fruit Festival. And then I guess they like met up with these other people. They were a couple. I cannot remember their name now, but it was a man and a woman. And then somehow I started watching their journey, and they ended up living in Thailand because that's where all the fruit was and stuff like that. But they were the ones that first kind of, lit a little spark for me to start getting a little bit more curious, because they'd even talked about like if they had a broken bone or something, that they would, I guess, depending on how bad it was, they would just like set it or brace it so it can heal itself, like, just kind of going into all the different depths of it. So it was very interesting. But yeah, they were full fruit, but I still think they even ate oatmeal or something like that. They did cook something, but I think it was called raw till 4 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing how all of us find these little sparks or these little breadcrumbs or whatever to kind of lead you just even further and further along. And that's why every single person is so important on this journey. You just never know what one person is going to lead you to the other, and so on. So we all have such a tremendous role to play, no matter if your role is just, you have one little speaking part, or you're somebody on a platform that is just talking about a lot of stuff. So We're all very, very important.
Yeah, and we get guided in different ways. So it's not just one way. So we do what we can. If it's like I keep bringing up the Garden of Eden .social because that is it's like my baby.
Yeah, it is.
It
Absolutely.
needs to nurture a little bit more, and I need some help, from everyone who's listening to make it what it can be, to just get the word out.
Yeah,
Because it is so important for us to create. Actually, it's up to us to create a different world.
it is.
And it's not the politics, it's not waiting until who is going to do what. That's not going to make the difference. We are going to make the difference.
Yep. That's why even when we were listening to, like, is Tom Hanks good or bad, or is Oprah good or bad, or stuff like that, like I do think that's still all very important, but I can't keep up with that kind of stuff, so I'm not really sure. And that's when I internally started thinking, I care if they're good or bad, absolutely, because I want to stand on the side of the truth 100%. But I wanted to not wait, like you were just saying. I don't want to wait for somebody else to do something. I want to start changing myself now. I want to change that man in the mirror now. And I want to be, the person who I want to project out into this world so that I can start making changes in this world, and, making my energy a little bit larger so I can touch other people and lead by example and stuff like that. So that's when I just started realizing that even if I follow all that stuff, how can I change anything? And so I started just looking within myself, like I said, the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror, whatever, and making those changes at home. And then from there, it is kind of reverberated out to start touching other people and leading other people on this path or to this path. And each of those people are going off and doing something. So it is really amazing, but I just decided to go within. And that's what the Bible also teaches us too, is it's all within. And work on yourself, work on your home, work on your family. And from that, you'll be an example to other families, even if you don't even know about it.
Yeah, and did you also feel that you have way more gratitude now with that way?
100%.
Because I'm like,
so grateful about everything.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know what it is, but the last few months I have this, well, it would be weird to say overwhelming, but it is such a strong, big feeling of gratitude for everything. And maybe I live in my own little bubble and create from here out. But it's like all the other things around me, they are not as important. And I know they are important, what you said, if somebody is good or bad, we want people to be good.
Mhm.
But with all the drama, and there is continuously created drama, and we're not happy. We keep searching to outside to what can fix it. And it's not another intruder. It's look inside, look at yourself, look in the mirror, see what you can do. It's all there.
Yep. It is. And it's a beautiful journey, and everybody gets there in their own time.
It is, but it was actually that I was like, my gosh, how come I'm so happy with everything?
And even if you feel like you live in like a small bubble or you don't get out much or whatever, I mean, you personally, Toni, touch a lot of people, and you talk to people from all around the world. And so you may feel like your physical bubble is very small, but your mental bubble and the energy you put out is tremendously large.
Yeah, the reach is I am aware of that. And I think even without the internet, we wouldn't be in many aspects from where we are. I know people say, oh, you have to get away from it. Well, I still see the internet as I always used to see as a big library. If I needed some information, I could get it there. And, the last 10, 20 years, it has become a lot of a drama in it. But there are still ways that we can actually, it's a great way to connect with people and to get the word out with what we are doing right now.
Yeah.
What you said, it's all important. It's all important what we are getting out.
Yes, it is.
And I find more and more people that are starting to even follow me on Facebook or listen to this podcast. There may not be very many live people on live, but they will listen afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's good too. And I hope that everybody, just if you feel there's value in what we are sharing, then please, like this and share it with others and get that ripple effect going.
Mm-hmm.
You may just need that one person that needed to hear what we are sharing.
Right. And remember, call in too, because a lot of our guests have actually touched a lot of other people too. And everybody's energy is a little bit different, and your energy might match to somebody else that may need to hear what you have to say at that time. So it's all very important. We all work together. When I talked about heat stroke earlier, coming up with summer and stuff like that too, one of the best things you can do about that is just to make sure that you are hydrated. Water does play a very important part, but your fruits also help hydrate you on more of a cellular level. And that's very important for true hydration.
Now, do you wear a hat when you are outside?
No. T-shirt, shorts, and boots.
Okay.
That's it. I do have, like my hair is really thick, and I have long hair. So, I don't stand out in the direct sun. It depends on where we're working, or am I mowing grass? Am I weed eating? Are we cutting a tree down? So, we could be under the canopy too.
Mhm.
But we're walking back and forth and doing stuff. I am on a computer during the day, but I'm still up and out a lot. So going back and forth, trying to do it all at one time, huh?
Yeah, I was just worrying about that hat. For some reason, I like hats. So I tend to pick out a hat that fits my outfit, and it's like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I need that sun on my head.
Well, I have been to Florida since I have been on the orange juice journey, but this would be my second year, like I said, too, on orange juice throughout the summers. I have not been on orange juice for 2 years straight. Just want to clarify that. That would be interesting, because I know Florida sun is definitely, we've always been told it's stronger. Is it truly stronger? I don't know. But I'd be interested to see how I would fare in the sun, I guess, down there.
Well, we know there has been a lot of weather modification.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years ago, I found that, I don't know what it is, but the sun looks whiter
It
and
does.
it burns harder.
It does.
Now, is it that it burned harder, that when I felt that for the first time, I'm talking about probably 6, 7 years ago, and I was not well. I was very sick and very acidic. So maybe that is why I felt that sun was much hotter than what I remembered, than what I used to feel.
That very well could be true. If I were to come to Florida now, I would not wear a hat, or I would probably I wouldn't wear boots, but I would probably, be my normal self, but I would be testing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would go and lay out at a beach all day long and then just go home and say, like, did I burn or not burn? I'd probably, stay out in the sun maybe an hour, and then kind of, go into the shade and see how I was doing, that kind of stuff, and just listen to your body and see. To me, I always just look at it as I'm experimenting with stuff and seeing how my body is now reacting to it.
Listening to your body, that's what we always tell everybody.
Yeah.
And be in control. Know your body, know how it responds to whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
The food, the sun, the water, what kind of water even.
Yeah.
And emotions, so many things that, you can be in control of.
Yep.
And we tend to, when we feel that we're not in control, is the times that we easily run to a doctor, and that's just not the way to go. So it's important that you learn to listen to your body, your intuition, what is good for you, what not. And for some people, you and I probably just know, other people may need to do muscle testing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when I talk to people, and it always comes out that they actually already knew,
Yes.
and now we just need to listen.
Trust. And you got to learn to trust too.
Yeah, well, that exactly.
Yes. Oh yeah. And the more you're on this, the more it's going to come to you as well too, as you know, is this right or is this wrong? We all know right from wrong within. But are you honing in and listening, and are you feeling, are you using everything? Because I believe we're not like magic, like, you know, like it's the magic what everybody thinks about, but we are definitely magical beings. I mean, we're sheer miracles, the way everything works. And we just need to really listen to ourselves. And also being barefoot outside, when I was picking mulberries, I did not wear shoes, and the bottoms of my feet were all purple, and I didn't care. It was fine. And it was just, to me, it's wonderful.
Embrace that one, your purple feet.
Yep.
Take a picture of it.
Exactly.
That is really funny. I used to, I think most of my life, yeah, actually most of my life, I did not wear shoes. I
Mhm.
had a lot of shoes because I loved shoes. I just didn't like to wear them. Or my feet didn't like to wear them. So I was always bare feet until after all those vaccinations, I actually got diabetes, and they told me, no, you can't walk bare feet anymore. But my feet were used to it. I could step on anything and not feel it.
Mhm.
And that is actually how it should be. But once you live in a town or in a city, it's not as much fun anymore. And if you want to wear instead of the rubber soles on your shoes, I used to have actually boots with and shoes with leather soles.
Mhm.
But they are kind of dangerous.
Yeah, they can be
It's-
slippery.
yeah, it can be very slippery. So even my motorcycle, well, actually my first motorcycle boots had leather soles.
Mm.
But yeah, it was too dangerous. And the bare feet, and you can actually walk on concrete if it's not painted. You can still ground.
Okay. I mean, I definitely just go right out into the grass. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing. We do not treat our lawn for anything. So our lawn is the way it is. And I know that I talked about permaculture a couple of episodes ago, but they talk about building up the soil and doing it the proper way, and all the things that we're really supposed to have, and how you shouldn't be putting anything on you shouldn't be putting chemicals on your soil to help make your grass whatever grow and be green, whatever you want. But it just really goes into detail about really building up the soil, and how most of our soil is washed away, and we don't have proper soils. So we kind of take that into mind when we do it, but we don't treat our yard with anything. But we drive by some of these people's lawns, and I can smell it, and I see kids playing on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I would never play on the yard.
No, no.
But
The community that you have here, especially HOA control,
yeah.
it's you have to have your lawn, and we have mostly already the fruit trees and bushes on it, but still have some grass, and it's like I want to get rid of it. I want flowers there.
Mhm.
It's the first year now that I consistently see bees around one of my flowers,
Yep.
and that's a good sign.
Oh yeah. We
That
have,
is not like, oh my God, I need to get rid of it because I may get stung. If you won't get stung if you stay away from them, they stay away from you.
yeah, and I was actually reading about that too. I mean, there's a certain wasp that can be very aggressive. Honeybees usually never sting. Most of your bees usually don't sting. There are some that will definitely go after you. And then it's one, I don't know the technical term or name for it, but it's called a cicada killer. It's really big, and it looks pretty scary, actually, if you think it's going to sting you, but they usually never sting either. And so we have bees, and I started seeing lightning bugs a couple nights ago, and frogs, snakes, we got it all.
I've never seen lightning bugs yet, but some people here in the park said they were actually here in the community.
Oh, like you've
So,
never seen them, or
no,
just
never seen it. Hey, come on, I'm from the Netherlands. You don't have lightning bugs there.
That's something I just learned something new then.
Yeah, and the ones, the wasp that you mentioned is actually very aggressive. It's yellow jacket,
Yes, the yellow.
and you have them a lot in Holland, and they sting first, and then ask later because that is absolutely. If they are there, you better make sure you get away from them.
Yes.
And because they are very aggressive. Now, with a bee sting, I have been stung by a bee. And how did that happen? Because I was on a motorcycle, I was just wearing a tank top, and it flew in between my breast. And I had a huge, grapefruit sized swelling.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just an allergic reaction.
Yeah.
I went to a doctor, actually. I went to the ER there. And they said, well, but there's nothing we can do. They didn't actually give you anything for it. Then they said,
Yeah.
just put ice on it.
Yep. We make a baking soda paste and put it on there.
They didn't tell me that, but being on a motorcycle, it's hot, not wearing much. I got stung by a wasp under my arm, actually.
Oh, damn.
And I was with friends, and she made, I think it was within 10 minutes, she made a baking soda, put on it, and no pain, no itching, no nothing.
Yep.
So that was the one that worked.
A handful of baking soda, add a little bit of water to it till it makes a paste, and then put it on there.
Yeah, that absolutely works.
I remember meat tenderizer as well, but that was like a long time ago. We haven't used that in forever. Like I might have been a small kid.
What is in a meat tenderizer?
I have not a clue because I don't use it, but I remember hearing like they would use a meat tenderizer and it would kind of do the same exact thing. You just make a paste of it and put it on there. I mean, we got stung a lot as kids because again, we were always outside playing. Everybody had dandelions in their yard. Nobody, treated yards back then. And we were always barefooted. So I mean, like you got stung, rolling around and playing in the dirt.
Yeah, that is how I grew up.
Yep. My husband did get stung. Last year he was mowing and there were ground bees, and I think he got like 7 stings at once. And he was in pretty good pain, but that was the first time he ever heard about the baking soda thing too, and that's all we treated him with.
I still wonder why my husband always gets stung by mosquitoes and I don't.
Yeah, that is. I wish there was like a lymphatic test that we could take to really see how backed up we are.
Well, we know we are backed up when we have all kinds of ailments, like when your skin is breaking out, when you have boils or pimples or psoriasis, eczema, whatever can happen, you have stagnated lymph.
Yep. And as Dr. Morse even said, which I think we talked about last week, is even if you have allergies, that's a sign that you're pretty backed up in the first place.
Yeah, and it can all change. It can all heal. I mean, I heard of people who didn't even, they said, oh yeah, I was allergic for that. Oh, it didn't bother me anymore. Even you had that.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have winter eczema last year at all. Well, and also I did forget about this too. And that's another good point you've made about where writing your stuff down and using the health questionnaire and just fill one out maybe twice a year, once a year. But I used to get really bad chapped lips, and I was addicted to chapstick. And I haven't used chapstick in I don't even know how long. It's been a while.
We tend to forget, that is why I so often see in the groups, like, I don't see any healing stories of people. And it's like, yeah, but once we don't have the symptoms that we had when we first got into that group, the group is not as important anymore. So people kind of fade out, go on with their lives. They don't have the same problems.
Nope.
And that is, it is important to write things down, because I did go over with people, after 2 years at the first talking, and it's like, and she was like, no, it was not 2 years, it was maybe a year. I'm not healing at all. And we went over the old health questionnaire, or I did in the meantime while we were.
I think we lost you, Tony. That was the first time. I don't know. I guess we might have lost Tony. I don't know. But we're already past the hour anyway at 1:00. And I mean, I hope everyone can hear me too, since this is being recorded from her side. But we're already past the hour, and thank you for everybody that joined us in the chat. And this was just kind of a talk about here and there stuff, and we're all getting excited for summer, and weather is becoming really nice. So hope everybody's outside enjoying it, and take your shoes off and do some grounding and hug some trees or something like that too, and get yourself lots of sun and eat your fruit and drink your juice. But much love to everybody. And Tony, if you can hear me, I guess I'll just go ahead and close out the show, and just send me a message here soon. Love to you all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh,
I
there
can
you are.
still hear you. I don't know
Okay.
if anybody else can hear me.
I can hear you now.
Oh, there we go. It
Go
was,
ahead.
no, I was still online, so that was not an issue this time.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep.
It's yeah, we are over the hour, and it was wonderful to listen to you and again. And in the meantime, I did finish my big bowl with mangoes.
Ooh, wonderful.
I just could not resist, and I still had some watermelon juice, so that has to wait for at least an hour now.
Yep.
But yeah, that was fun.
Oh yeah. I'm almost done with my first jar of orange juice, and I'll be starting my other one probably around 3:00. So
Yeah.
yep.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for all your input again, and much love to you, much love to anyone who is listening. And we would love to hear your stories too. And so join us live. We will every Thursday, Florida time. In the winter, it's EST. In the summer, it's EDT, which is confusing for many people.
Your daylight time, East Coast time. How about we just say that? Whatever time it is there.
Yeah, well, yeah, Florida time. And we do this every Thursday. In 2 weeks, we have a colleague of mine on the phone, and or on a podcast, she has a beautiful retreat in Mexico. And so we would love to hear from her. I had invited her for today, but she couldn't do it. So she will be here in 2 weeks and will join us. And yeah, I would, if you can, at any time, join her retreat there. Oh, I got to tell this. Probably a year ago already, I started talking about my retreat room at my house. It is finished. It is finally finished. It was the first room that we started decorating or renovating. And of course, when you renovate the rest of the house, there's always need to be one room where you put all your stuff. That was the first renovated room. So almost everything is out now. It's decorated, and we just sometimes sit there and it's like, oh my God, this is so nice.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
So I'm still thinking of, for people to stay here for a week or 2 weeks to get their detox going, to learn. So that's still a project I'm considering. And the room is beautiful. It has its own fridge, its own non-cooking kitchen. You cannot cook there.
Why would you ever want to cook on detox?
Yeah, well, I had someone who said, oh, I would like to live here. And I knew he was a meat eater. And I was like, no meat will be cooked here. It's a non-cooking kitchen. Oh, I can put a little thing there and then I can cook.
Nope.
Not gonna happen.
I don't want to smell it.
Nope. No dead rotting animals on a grill here.
No,
So,
no.
but yeah, that was fun.
I
But it all came together, so we'll see how it all turns out. So it's yeah,
Wonderful.
still an
Awesome.
option. So thank you everybody. Much love, and till the next time.
Bye.